Ramble Football Club is proudly sponsored by Glasby Pallets, offering a one-stop solution for all of your pallet needs. Get in touch now on 01709 585 646 to discuss your pallet requirements. And thank you again to Sonny and the team for their continued support of Ramble FC. Then left to lose. What is happening, people? And welcome back to Ramble FC. I've just noticed that Man Mountain has not set it up right. Well, anyway, so can't, want something doing right, do it yourself. So, yeah, how is everybody? This is Ramble FC, the Ramble Football Club, and today we are talking about one-season wonders in the Premier League. So, I'd like to have different topics on this. We will have Lewis joining us from the Platinum Ramblers later to get onto our weekend predictions. And we'll see where we all are in the predictions league. Because I was bottom. I don't think I am now. I think I'm up to third, something like that. But some might say on goal difference I'm still bottom. But anyway, we'll work that out as the time comes. So we're going to talk about today one-season wonders. Who sticks out for you as somebody that made a huge impact for a very short period of time and then just seemed to disappear off the face of the earth, or just fizzled out in terms of their career and were the great hope at one stage and then just faded completely. There are some names. We're going to have a top five. The way we're going to do it, we're going to give you 5 different players that we have sort of mutually decided on, and then we'll ask you guys in the comments to rank them in terms of who's definitely the number one season wonder, 1 to 5. We'll let you guys decide that. We'll do it ourselves as well in terms of how we think should go where, but we'll see where you guys think as well. And I'll try and put a poll up in the chat if we can during that. But there'll also be some honourable mentions. So get anybody in the chat that you think was a one season wonder. Some will not have made this list, but we've got a list. Some names might surprise you, but then when you see the reasoning behind it, hopefully you'll understand why they're included. So to help me out, first up, co-host number 1, it's the Man Mountain.
This is the view from the mountain with a heart so pure it's astounding. Man Mountain, strong and true. What a man, what a view.
Now then, my mates, how are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, living La Vida, aren't we, at the minute? So, why shouldn't we be buzzing? Very, very happy set of supporters. Brilliant show last night in the hotel. Great debut. Yeah, it was great. It was good. I was going to go to the toilet. I was like, I'm going to take my phone with me because I couldn't miss it. It was like, I had to see who was coming in next.
You had to sit and watch us, did you?
Well, mate,
brilliant.
It certainly wasn't formulaic, was it? It never sort of, you could tell it was very, here we are, this is what's happening. And,
off the cuff.
Very live, mate. It's very live. So all the best TVs live and all the, all the biggest bombshells get dropped on a live because there's nothing you can do about it afterwards. So yeah, but I thought it was great. Ted coming in later on. Yeah, and Gaz was there. Love Gaz, and he showed up, and obviously, like I was ribbing ATB afterwards, wasn't I? About as soon as Ted turns up, Andy like comes to life, like someone's plugged him in or something. He's like,
he's like
here we are, boys. Oh, Ted.
Flies around muck sometimes.
Obviously, he's one of his heroes from when he was a big fan, obviously, and it was good watching Andy get a buzz off that. So yeah, it was great, mate. I thought it was such a good start and very exciting. Yeah, if we capture that excitement after a game, it was like a who's who of the Ramblers, and it was good, mate. Really good.
Thank you, mate. So the next possible after party is Stoke, and I think you will be up for that, won't you? Are you coming up for the game?
Yeah, I should be. Yeah, I'm hoping to be up for the game. But no, it's I'll be able to do a little bit of vetting for you, mate, so you don't get any potty mouths on.
Personal protection. Love that. Thank you, mate.
Right. What's your name? Where'd you come from?
I thought that was funny. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Well, I wasn't being serious. Anyway, right. Let's get him in, the man on the mic. It's Jordan Motson.
Jordan Motson, the man on the mic, painting the match with a sound so right. Sheffield's pride, every fan can see. He's the voice of the Blades, their melody.
Jord, how's it going, pal?
How are we doing, gents? I'm all good, thank you. It's nice to see you've played me intro tonight, Jim. So yeah, you know, it's not George Motson anymore. It's not Dodgy Motson. It's Diva Motson.
Yeah, it is Diva Motson. Yeah, I might do you a new one. We might have to change it completely and have you one walking down catwalk or something like that. Wait and see. How are you feeling after yesterday, pal? Obviously, we'll just allow us to just. I know this is a wider football channel chat, but we won 3-0 last night. We had our first after party. Jord was there. What do you reckon, pal? You feeling good?
I'm buzzing. I'm still buzzing. Speaking to Meldra earlier and asking him how you were feeling, and he asked me how I'm feeling. I'm still buzzing from. Well, it's not even just from last night. It's from Sunday as well. It's been a good few days, hasn't it, for us Blades, and it's just nice to get back to winning ways, and hopefully we can try and put a run together and get clear of this relegation zone and look up from there.
Yeah, agreed. Right, let's get the Bald and Brilliant one in. It's Bald and Brilliantly.
Bold and brilliant, that's our lead. Knows the pitch like the back of his knee. No need for hair, he's got strategy. Football genius, yeah. That's Bally.
That's Baldly. How's it going, pal?
Oh dear.
You love that, don't you? You absolutely love that. Yeah. Really good, thanks.
The famous Baldly.
Yeah, well, always happy after 3 points, aren't we?
We're always happy, mate. Always happy. So, moving on to tonight's topic then. One season wonders. We've gone back and forth on this. I think Jord has even done so much as, no, we've sort of come to a general consensus of the 5 players that we're going to talk about specifically, but there will be an honourable mentions list. We had to cut it off at some point because we were never going to agree. And Jord, I think, has stuck to his guns and gone and got a load of stats as to why a couple of his shouts should be involved as well. So we'll get to them at the end, Jord, if that's all right. But who wants to talk through our first player? Anybody in particular? Don't all rush at once.
Who's the first one? Who are you going to say?
I'll tell you what. So this is in no particular order. We're going to rank these once we've spoken about all 5. I will bring up the first player. I'll be honest. I'm not going to be great at this. I've got all the stats together, but I'm just going off memory rather than any other basic facts. I don't know if they've then had a long injury that's taken them out of the game or whatever it is. So first player we're going to talk about, and I think it's the most obvious one for this type of list, is Michu. So he always comes up when this conversation happens. So get him out of the way early in terms of a player that's got to definitely be on the list. You look at his record in the Premier League. I've also included, obviously, a little of his time abroad as well, because he's only had the 2 seasons in England. So just as a comparison as to how he's gone since, I don't do this for the rest of them because they're a little bit more domestic based. But so 2012 to 2013 season, he had his breakout year for Swansea in the Premier League. 35 appearances, 18 goals, 3 assists. 13-14 really dropped off. 17 appearances, only the 2 goals and 2 assists. He then got to move to Napoli, where he played 3 times. Then there was an absence of a 15-16 season on transfer market when I was looking at it. So I don't know whether he's been out with an injury or didn't have a club or whatever it might have been. But in 16-17, he went to Real Oviedo and played 27 games, got 1 goal and 1 assist. Lads, it's not a great record, is it?
I believe he had a knee injury as well. I'm sure it was a knee injury in that season that he's missing. I'm sure he got a knee injury. I know when he first was playing well, he got a call up to the Spanish national team as well, I believe. So obviously he started really, really well. Everyone were tipping him to do things. And then he had that 1 season, great season. Swansea had a good season. And then everyone forgets him after that. You can't really see a decent return, can you, after?
No,
so
How do you want to do this? Do you think we get all the names out of the way first, and then we can discuss them collectively as to why, rather than spend a bit of time on each one, because it might be a similar conversation, that's all, about the individual things. So next up on the list, we're going to go to the next one, and this was second one that we did, Rocky Santa Cruz at Blackburn Rovers. So in 2007-2008, he made 37 appearances in the Premier League for Blackburn. He got 19 goals and 7 assists. What a brilliant return that is. Like almost, it's a goal every other game, isn't it? So more than 20 goals and 20 appearances and 4 goals the following season, 2 assists. So massive drop off from the previous year. And then he signs for Man City, and it does not go well at all. 19 appearances, 3 goals. The following season in 2010-2011, he has 1 appearance, no goals. I understand he did it also have his injury issues. 2011-2012, 9 appearances and no goals on his return to Blackburn. Really disappointing from Rocky Santa Cruz, who looked like a real player when he first burst onto the scene. And yeah, a disappointing fall from grace, I would probably say.
His first season at Man City, even though he made 19 appearances, 13 of them were sub appearances. So he's only making six starts that season. So after having, the first season at Blackburn where he performed really well, scored goals and assisted, and then dropped off a bit in the second season. He got his big move to Man City, but 13 of them appearances, them 19 were from the bench. So, and he might, them minutes, I didn't look exactly his minutes that he got, but them minutes could have been 5 minutes.
Yeah, that were a big shout of yours, weren't it, Rocky Santa Cruz, Jogs? I think it's quite stark, the drop off in what he had been producing for Blackburn that breakout season.
Yeah,
and then what he produced after that point in time. The next one on the list will not be a surprise to many, I don't think. Michael Ricketts of Bolton. So in his first season in the Premier League with Bolton, he in 2001-2002 made 37 appearances, got 13 goals and 1 assist. At this time, look, that's not the most impressive record as we've seen with Rocky Santa Cruz before and things like that, but this is the time, and Man Mountain rightly pointed this out as well. He got an England call-up, and he wore the number 9 shirt for England at this around this time. 2002 to 2003, he made 22 appearances and got just 6 goals for Bolton. Then he transferred that season to Middlesbrough and made 9 appearances, scoring 1. And then I don't think that's right at the bottom that he got.
It's one hell of a game, that, mate. If he's done that in one game.
So yeah, that's what happens when you rush to put things together.
Goals to minutes just flying.
It's a real drop off. That I will get the proper stats unless Lee's got him there. But Michael Ricketts, another one that seemed to be on the upward trend, and then just really tapered off.
Jim was doing his score predictions on the last one.
Yeah, and he don't get many of them right either. So
2-1, 2-1. I'll put.
Oh, sorry, because George's flying up the league.
Well, you're bottom on goal difference, so
No, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. Right, two more names to go, and then we can chat about who we think needs to be involved in the 1 to 5s. Michael Bridges comes onto the list at Leeds United, and this were a great. I think it was Paul that mentioned this one first, because he's not one that jumps out as one that sticks in my mind, because he was never really a brilliant player, but you can see here he had a great season in 99 to 2000, making 34 appearances for Leeds in the Premier League, scoring 19 goals, 3 assists. And then the following season, yes, he was injury hit, but 2000 to 2001, 7 appearances, 1 assist, no goals. 2001 to 2002, 5 appearances. 2002 to 2003, 10 appearances. Then he gets a move to Newcastle in 2003, 2004, 6 appearances, no goals. Absolutely useless from Bridges. Go on, Paul.
There was a feeling about him, though, even when you spoke to Leeds fans, that there was a real player in there, someone who could really finish. And was it Sunderland before that? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
They ranted and raved about how he was a really natural finisher. And he was spoken about in similar terms to people like, and again, the records will speak for themselves, like Robbie Fowler in terms of a natural finishing sort of talent, if you want. And yeah, I think it was a bit of a surprise and a bit of a disappointment after obviously that big season that he had. Because we've got a couple of them on our books, mate. At the minute, we've got Danny Ings, who's had one. He's been fairly consistent throughout his career, but he had one really big season as well. And I think it lends itself to being. We're talking about strikers, and it's no surprise, is it? It's about being a class player is about being consistent as well as having the odd good season. But it's about confidence in it, being a striker, and it's no surprise all the ones we've spoken about so far. All strikers or forwards, if you want, with Michu as well, where they can have this really rich vein of form and then struggle to recapture that again, if you want.
I'm going to ask you about that because you're right. They're all strikers. And at one stage, the entire list was strikers. The last player we'll come on to isn't, but purely because we wanted to give it a little bit of balance. But does it demonstrate, obviously the strikers are always the ones that get the glory. Everybody wanted to be a number 9 really when they were in playground as a kid, but is it the most high pressure position as well in a lot of ways? Is it like you're the ones that gets remembered clearly for not performing at this level? How much stick did Ollie McBurney get compared to an Aaron Ramsdale, for example? I know Ramsdale took his fair share of stick, and it's probably a bad example, but I think strikers, there's a lot of pressure on their shoulders to perform as being the main man at their club, particularly if they seem to be the main striker.
On a football pitch, Jim, the goalkeeper and the strikers are under the most scrutiny. You can't usually get away with just working hard. It doesn't matter, because if a goalie makes one mistake, strikers and forwards make more mistakes than they do things right, in my opinion, most of the time.
Yeah, they do.
But they're the ones that score the goals and get you the wins, so they grab the headlines. And when you're talking about other positions on a football pitch, you're talking about, for a lot of positions, we take a 7 out of 10 every single week. But when you're a striker, you've got to be the one that puts the ball in the net. And like you say, you have an off day, and everybody knows about it, and everybody's talking about it. And it's the same with a keeper, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it is. It is, and that's fair, mate. That's fair. So
the
last position,
obviously. Get paid.
Exactly.
We always hear about that. They always get paid the most because it's the hardest thing to do in football. Many a great football scholar has kicked that one out into the ether before.
So it's all relative, isn't it, to what to what's expected of them as well, and it all goes into that pressure cooker that they're in, and the pressure that they're under. So yeah, I think that's fair, mate. So the last player that we're going to talk about is and allow us a little bit of experience on this one, because we saw it with our own eyes. John Lundstrom gets in to this one season wonder category. And yes, it's probably, along with Bridges, it's a surprising name to put on the list. And it's not a striker, so you can't necessarily point to the goals record or the assist record per se, because he did a bit of everything. He was a tough tackling midfielder at times, John Lundstrom as well. And I've only listed his Premier League years here on his stats. But if you could have an average rating, which I think is always subjective, but if you could have an average rating, there is no more stark contrast to what we got in John Lundstrom than the 19-20 season and the 20-21 season. So 34 appearances in his first one, 5 goals, 3 assists for Sheffield United, and 28 appearances, no goals and 2 assists in his second. Look, it was poor in his second season, but everybody was collectively. Where did his form come from in that first season? Nobody. So Chris Wilder plucked him. It was, for those that aren't Sheffield United fans, just to give you an idea of how things went for us around that time, that was our most successful period and most enjoyable period for a lot of us, where we were playing the overlapping centre halves, and we played a formation where it was 3 at the back, then 2 wing backs, we'd have 2 in midfield, and Mark Duffy in the 10. And then we'd have 2 strikers up top. And we thrived in that formation. The patterns of play were incredible. Triangles on the edge of the box with the overlapping centre halves. Nobody had seen anything like it. And a lot of people will remember, certainly non-Blades will remember, that's when Chris Wilder first started getting really talked about in the mainstream, really, because of that tactic, which a lot credit Alan Nill for as well. When we got promoted to the Premier League, Wilder recognised that we would be more vulnerable in the Premier League if we were playing with a 10, and it was a little bit ambitious for the Championship to be playing that way. So to go into the Premier League, he thought we would be a lot more solid with 3 central midfielders. Also, there was the fact that Mark Duffy couldn't agree to a new contract and ended up leaving the club. But so we'd lost our main number 10 who made everything tick. But we went to a flat 3 in the middle, which made us a lot more secure in the middle of the park. And this was where we had our brilliant season and finished 9th. And John Lundstrom, who hadn't been able to get into the Championship 2, suddenly came into the starting lineup in the Premier League and looked like he belonged straight away and played really well. I think we're at the Palace game. Did he score on his first start? I might be tricking myself, but I think we won 1-0 and he got the first goal. So and that set him off for a really strong season. And then his contract were running out and he wouldn't sign a new deal. And obviously he left under a bit of a cloud at the end of all that. But he really dropped off in his levels. And obviously he's sort of found his more natural level. He's now at Hull, and I'm not sure he's getting in every week either. So before us, he was at Oxford and things like that. Went to Rangers, didn't really do anything, been in Turkey. So John Lundstrom has had a real peak for one season and then dropped off significantly. So I think it's right. And it was Paul that said, look, let's have a bit of variety in the list and have a midfielder in that we know we can justify why we can include him in this list, because not a lot of people will be overly familiar with it, but Blades certainly will, where he dropped off significantly. So those are... Go on, mate.
Some will be familiar with him, won't they? Because, like I said, I think he was the most selected fantasy football player at one point. Because I think, like you're saying, because no one had seen him the year before, even Blades fans and hadn't really seen out of him. It meant that they put him in as a defender for Sheffield United. So he was getting these clean sheets because the thing about that season was, and the reason he stood out so much was he was classified as a defender. He was cheap as chips. I think he was like 4 million, the cheapest player he could possibly be. We were keeping some clean sheets and he was scoring goals and assisting goals as well. And it was like, get this lad in. He's
the listed as a defender, weren't he, I think?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he was wrongly listed, and I think every single team had him because he was I think he might have been top 3 or 4 on the defenders list for that season as well. So he was so cheap compared to the Virgils and the Trents of this world. So it was I think some people will be aware of it for that reason. But Sheffield United, I think Sheffield United, like a lot of these teams that we're talking about, when we say that they're strikers, what do strikers need more than anything else?
Confidence.
Service.
2 things. Good. Well done, Jord. A-star, you two. Teacher's coming out now. But service. Yeah, I was going to say service, but the thing about service is if your team's really struggling, and if you look at the teams that these guys played for, the Swans, Bolton, Blackburn, they're sides that can have that second season syndrome, can't they? And really struggle because they're not established Prem sides. And all of a sudden, doesn't matter how good you are, if you're not getting a chance to score, you're not going to score. So it's one of those, isn't it? Whether they're just victims of the circumstances a little bit. That's why they've made this list. But certainly we didn't see the same money. I don't know if people figured him out, or because obviously those numbers for a guy playing in a holding 2, which is what he was doing early on as well. Whether he got figured out quite early, I don't know. And people started becoming more aware of him. But it was a hell of a surprise for everybody, wasn't it? I thought his rise and then his fall, maybe not so much.
He did the same. To be honest, he did the same thing to Rangers. He had a good first season, and they were chanting his name, doing well in Europe and stuff like that. And then second season, Rangers couldn't wait for him to leave, and that were probably like same with our fans, weren't it?
Yeah.
People like saying, "No, he's getting, he's got to be a starter. He's got to be a starter. He's doing so well." Second season, we couldn't wait for him to leave, could we? As he weren't signing a new contract as well, so it was like show him out at door.
I know he's a scout as well, mates with Mark Duffy.
Yeah.
who also knocked on a door and decided he wanted something more than maybe he was worth.
Oh my word, yeah. Can you imagine that conversation with Chrissy Wilder?
The thing about Lundstrom for me is when he came in, we were playing him deeper, and he thought he was a bit of a ball player, and he connected with 1 in 4 of his passes. He were just kicking him out of play. The season after, he hardly played. And then it was as if he was told, don't pass, just run. And he got around the park, he got further up the field, and he looked a better player. The season after, he started to think he could pass again, and he didn't play as well. And I think that's why he dropped off so much. Believed his own hype.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair to say. I've put the poll in the chat. So let me just. So there's only a chance for four votes, which is great. Just what we need when we've got 5 players. So I've put Michu, Ricketts, Rocky Santa Cruz, and then Bridges, and then in brackets, comment if you want John Lundstrom. But so far, Michu is out in front. Lads, what are we saying about this? Just to sort of give people context around who we think they should be steering towards. What out of the 5 that we've discussed, we'll come on to honourable mentions as well at some stage. But who do we think deserves to be front and centre at the top of this list?
I think that the way that the poll's going, I would lean in and agree with the masses, whether you think I'm buttering him up or not. I would agree Michu, simply because I thought he was a class player. So what I thought of those players that we're talking about now, again, we didn't see really. I can't remember. I remember Bridges being a really good finisher, but I think Michu looked like he could go and play for a top 6 side when he was on form. The way that he struck a ball, the way that he carried the ball, the things he was doing because he played in the 10 behind Bolly. You could also it is Bolly, isn't it? It's not. No, it's
Wilfred Bolly. Yeah.
Oh, Boney.
Bonnie. Yeah.
Yeah. He
Bolly's Wolves defender, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yeah. Forest now, Jim. Forest.
Yeah. Ex-Wolves. Yeah.
Ex-Wolves. So Bonnie, because he was a bit of the same, weren't he? Them two were the combination at the top of the pitch for them. And they had a really good season in the Premier League. Seems like a long time ago for Swansea now, didn't they? But no, I looked at him and thought he could go and play for a big club simply because he used a bit of class. And then, like you say, he just dropped off a cliff. I think most would have been like, "Oh, we'll start him." When they were picking talk about the fantasy team again, he would have been in a lot of people's first lineup. And then he would have been out of that lineup by week 3 or 4, I'd imagine, because people had a lot of good things to say about him, and certainly getting in the Spanish squad is no mean feat. So I think he was probably, for me, the pick of the players. I don't know if you agree or disagree.
I find it hard to disagree on that one, if I'm honest, Paul. I think that's who I'd have probably picked. You know, just looking at records and stuff. Everyone raved about him. We all raved about him. I think every single one of us, back in that season where he was scoring all them goals, would be like, he makes our team 110%. He looked a class player, and he fell off face earth, didn't he? He didn't live up to his hype, and that ends why we've put him in our list. And I reckon myself a top 5 down, and he were number 1. So I find it hard to argue that point.
Can I just say as well? I think 3 of these 5, Ricketts. Hang on, does that come up? It should come up. But Ricketts, 2001, 2002. Certainly Bridges, 99 to 2000, and Rocky Santa Cruz don't count. But Ricketts and Bridges, Jamie Dumpling weren't born when they had those seasons. So
he's clearly going to be asking who they are.
Yeah, probably.
Ricketts was the one whose agent I felt had to get the busiest. I said, when you have a season like he had, I don't know about you, but I was watching thinking, this ain't going to last. And there it was. The proof was there to be seen.
Like the David Nugent thing, weren't it? Them sort of players.
Yeah,
I mean, he weren't a one-season lad, but it were.
Yeah, he was like a poor man's. I don't know. I don't want to say that, but for me, there was a lot of good forwards.
I know where you were going with that.
There was a lot of good forwards in and around at that time as well. And I was like, when he got picked for England, I was really surprised.
Yeah,
and I just thought I just didn't think he had his first touch. I remember seeing. I just thought he weren't the man for that job. He was a bit of a battering ram and a good athlete, but he just didn't have that technical quality that you just thought he's going to be able to sustain a career in the Premier League. That's for sure.
Just going back to Michu. Sorry, Jim. Just going back to Michu. Talk about a fall from grace. He actually went from Swansea, then on loan to Napoli. Swansea then released him, and he went and played non-league for a bunch of.
Oh, is that why there's no record?
And then from there, he went back to Oviedo.
Wow, that is a huge fall from grace.
Yeah.
Which compared to the rest of the players, they didn't fall off like that, did they?
No.
Which probably does help probably in that poll.
So I think that's fair that that we consider Michu probably our collective number one. Who comes closest to him then? I can't get past Michael Bridges' record. Look at Bridges' record here. It was Jord that raised it as a shout from, or it might have been Paul. Can't remember. I don't mean so.
Paul.
So sorry, Paul. So 19 goals in 34 appearances, and then look. I know it were a shocking injury. I think where he'd done his cruciate or something. I can't remember what it was. A recurring knee or something. But that record is abysmal following a really strong start. So anybody,
it's on Rian Brewster, isn't it?
I think the only reason that I wouldn't. The only factor here that I think is the Dodge one is that he had good seasons before he was at Leeds. So whether you think
not
that,
in the Prem.
No, I know, but that's he's like, well, Benny's kind of a victim of the criteria, isn't he? A little bit, because I know I don't.
It's levels, isn't it?
If you look at Ricketts' record, I don't think he went anywhere and did anything after that stint at Bolton. I think he just went down and down and down.
So you're saying if they're leveled out to be an half decent player, then they wouldn't be as harshly judged.
Well, Bridges
harshly judged. Whereas you look at Michu going down to play non-league from playing at Napoli, that is a huge. That's off a cliff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas Bridges has petered out rather than sort of been stomped out, I suppose.
Well, the next time Bridges got in double figures, it was in League Two. You know, so about 6-7 years after, and he'd not scored that many before. It was a standout season, and I was really shocked when Paul brought this up. I never dreamt that it was as stark as this. Of
me
how
neither.
he was climbing, and then it just dropped off. Just really dropped off. It's a great call.
I agree. I think it's the record that stands out to me rather than. I don't know whether I'm just thinking, oh well, just because it's such a shock to me that he should be like my number 2 or whatever it is. But I'd never remember him being not that bad, because I don't mean to say it in that context, but I always remember him as being an okay player. Probably didn't realise he'd done as well that one season. That's probably more it. But yeah, I think it's a sharp difference compared to what I thought it were going to be. So would you argue more so than Ricketts? Would you say, Paul?
Yeah, simply because I think Bridges was a little bit of a victim of his injury. I just think Ricketts was always going to be a bit of a flash in the pan, and I felt that Bridges probably could have done better, which maybe should have done better if the stars had aligned for him a little bit more in terms of his fitness, if you know what I mean. So I don't know whether you could easily argue he's the second, because he was the one with probably the most potential out of the group, who maybe should have had a better record overall. But for me, Ricketts was always going to be a short-term success, as it were. Form is temporary, class is permanent, and these guys really fit that bill. I think Santa Cruz was like, he's got a cool name, hasn't he?
So he gets an extra couple of points.
Mate, it definitely is.
Is that who Brereton Diaz modelled himself off then? Because they're both Chilean.
It is certainly the coolest name on the list, but one of the coolest Premier League names ever, isn't it? Rocky Santa Cruz.
Oh, and he looks the part, don't he? Look at him.
Yeah, he does. George, I'm going to come to you with this actually next, because this were your shout and a good one as well. Do you want to you come with ammunition, aren't you, mate? So you tell us why Rocky Santa Cruz should be higher up on this list.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. No. To be honest, I'd written down all the stats that you had put on screen, and I think there's only 38 games in a Premier League season, so he's missed one in that first, in 07-08, and he scored 19 goals and assisted 7. Yeah, that's a very, very good return, especially for Blackburn. If he'd have started off at Man City there, people would be talking about him a hell of a lot more. He then obviously did get that move and failed to even live up to it. And the fact that, to be honest, the season after you've had a great season like that, people expect him to kick on. He only makes 20 appearances. 3 of them come from, so this is still for Blackburn, and he only gets 4 goals and then 2 assists. Man City still then take a chance on him. I don't know if he got an injury in that season.
The Mark Hughes season.
I Not sure off the top of my head.
That might be a bit early for. No, it might be a bit late. Sorry for that, but I might be way off.
But, yeah,
I was
so
just looking at that picture,
his
John.
appearances are dropping. Say again, Paul.
He's done you dirty on that picture, mate. Put that picture back up.
Why have I done him dirty?
Look at right. Look, you don't.
That's a picture that he's sent.
It should be on. It looks like it should be on Dave the Nose's intro with that. Like he's smelling somebody's.
And that's me being angry because one of my picks didn't get put in. But yeah, so then obviously
you did get your walk-on music.
Yeah, it was last night. In fact, that was my face last night when you were playing music. But he gets to Man City, and he only, again, his appearances are then still dropping, and he's making 13 sub appearances, he's scoring 3 goals, and then after that, he don't get any goals, no assists, no goals for the next 2 seasons. And I just think, for all the promise that he had, and everyone talked about him, and you know, we all saw that and think he's going to get a big move. He's a decent striker. He's on the international stage. He's going to get his chance. Gets his chance, and he don't take it. And I just think that were a big fall off from everyone talking about him. It's a bit similar to Mishu, probably not as quick fall off. Mishu obviously easily pitched that.
Yeah, dramatic.
But it's one of them where he looked like he had everything, and he was going to be a good player earning a lot of money, and he never followed it up.
Was Santa Cruz? Was he from Bayern? Did he come from Bayern?
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah.
So automatically he comes with a little bit of
pedigree,
because they love players from the big clubs, don't they? Who maybe don't quite cut the mustard and then go somewhere else and tear it up a little bit. So I think he probably would have had some suitors, at you know, like big suitors, I suppose, from clubs, I would imagine. But again, how much do we think a factor these clubs that we're talking about now? You know, I mentioned it earlier. Strikers need service, and they need people around them who are going to serve up opportunities to score goals. Do you think that they're a little bit of a victim of the clubs they're at? Do you think they could have had potentially more longevity at bigger clubs?
Usually, yes, but not in this case.
Yeah, I think it's opposite way around, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Man City, so at that time, Man City are a bigger club than Blackburn is, in the sense of the players that they had.
Yeah, and you'd expect him to get the service.
Yeah, Blackburn created more, didn't they? And he scored. You know, he took his chances for them. Then he gets his move to Man City. We've got the better players to create, and he only makes 6 starts. So obviously, City took a chance, and he's not good enough.
That's symptomatic of being at a massive club, though. It'd be probably the same story at Bayern Munich, wouldn't it? Like we've said it 100 times. Strikers need continuity. You know, the ones that come off the bench, I'd imagine it's really hard to get any rhythm into your, like say, 6 starts in a season out of 38 matches. That's not a lot, and it doesn't sound like he's had much of a run in the team in order to get any continuity. So I think it's and like out of those 19 appearances, 6 starts, 13 sub appearances, you've got no idea how long they are and what the circumstances are that you're coming on into. It might be that they're seeing a game out if they're 2 or 3-0 up and they want to rest the star man. It's there's a lot of mitigation, I think, with that, and especially when you're at one of the big clubs. I take it, if you're a regular at a big club, you'd imagine that you'd have to keep recording numbers consistent with that season. But I think these are all things we know. Leeds dropped off a cliff, don't we? We know Bolton were yo-yo at the time. Swansea haven't been back since that time, I don't think, to the Premier League in my head. So I think it's a little bit symptomatic of the clubs they're at as well. Into Sheffield United definitely fall into the category. Really successful first season, second season syndrome kicks in, and all of a sudden Lunny's useless. So it's one of them, innit?
639
with Santa Cruz.
Minutes.
Sorry, Jim.
639 minutes he got in the season he played for Man City. So I'm just looking at it. He started off with a bad knee injury. That won't help. Then had another injury in the end of January, February time. So he's obviously been halted by that.
Yeah.
He's never really got a full 90 minutes. So it lines up with what Paul's saying as well. Usually a substitute appearance, sometimes getting 30 minutes, sometimes getting 12, sometimes getting 6. So
by the sound of that's him just trying to get his fitness back up, innit?
One in the 19 games, 1 90-minute performance. So yeah, it's fair. And to be honest, he got 2 against Sunderland. Oh no, sorry, this 2 90-minute performance, 90 minutes. 1 he got 2 against Sunderland, which obviously keeps you in the team for a little bit longer. But yeah, it's one of them. Into like you say, it's the context behind it, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, theoretically speaking, in a Man City side, he should be getting more service, and it should be easier to score in those sort of sides. But yeah, it depends if they're getting the game time as well. So to be fair, we're seeing something similar on a much smaller level with Tom Cannon. We are one of the better sides in the Championship. He'd been playing at what would be seen to be lesser sides previously in terms of quality player that you've been able to bring in terms of finances and previous performances and data, etc. He didn't have Gus Hamer or Callum O'Hare or any of these players around him at Stoke or at Preston, and he was able to score more goals than he has for Sheffield United. Is it a pressure thing? Is it, can he handle the pressure of being at a club this this size? I don't mean to sound arrogant by we say that, but in terms of Santa Cruz going to Man City, he's previously been at Bayern, didn't cut the mustard, went to Blackburn, became the main man, and then he's back in the spotlight at Man City. Is it a bit too much of a pressure cooker for him? There's all these sort of intangibles, isn't there, that you can look at. Lee, we were going to say something, right?
Well, about Roque Santa Cruz, I was going to say that even though he was at Bayern and he was playing quite a bit at Bayern, he was never scoring that many. He'd get about 5, maybe 5 a season. And then you look at him now. I mean, he still played this year. He played in Paraguay this year in their top division. But it took him till 2019 before he hit double figures again. So he was never prolific.
How old is he now?
So, 44.
He's still playing. Fair play.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Love that. So
still believe it, Jim. Still believe it.
I mean, you could put Jeff Caceres in Paraguayan league, and he'd probably do all right as well when he comes from there.
Well, he did, didn't he? He did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Yeah, that's
probably says everything.
A big move to Bulgaria out of that.
Right, we have no idea if he's any good or not, do we? We haven't got a Scooby.
So he's not tearing it up at Dunfermline.
Well, it's a tough league, isn't it? That
It's
Scottish
a high
League or
level.
whatever it is. League Championship, isn't it? It's Scottish Championship. I don't know where they are.
Yeah.
Right. So the people have had their say, and they have it ranked as follows: the number 1 iconic one-season wonder is Michu, followed by Michael Ricketts, followed by Roque Santa Cruz, then Michael Bridges, and no real bites for John Lundstrom. I know I didn't necessarily ask you about John Lundstrom per se, but I think I filled in a fair bit of that when we originally discussed him. So, and people in this chat likely know all about him. So it's Michu, Ricketts, Santa Cruz, Bridges, and Lundstrom. If people,
can I ask then, if Lundstrom didn't get a vote, can we just put him in bin?
Yeah,
instead of a position.
yeah, we can.
It'll do for me.
So
I think naturally people are going to go for a striker because obviously they're seen as if they're scoring loads of goals and then they just suddenly stop. They're going to naturally pick that, and that's what we were doing, weren't it? When we were trying to put this together, we were thinking the same, and other people when they're just coming on and seeing this and seeing us talk about it, they're naturally going to pick strikers as well. I think. Yeah,
I think that's about fair. I think that's probably order that we'd have maybe settled. I know you can all have your own individual preferences and arguments, but I don't think that's an unfair ranking of the list. So thank you to everybody that took part in that. Thank you, lads, for your contributions with it. Let's get in some comments before we bring in our special guest, very special guest, live from the back cave. Hugo Rodallega at Wigan. Oh, that's not a bad shout. Mido at Spurs. Yeah. Rocky Santa Cruz loved the Barclays Premier League era. Benjani at Portsmouth, then flopped at City.
Did you see the Harry Redknapp when he talks about Benjani?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, get on that plane.
Oh, Benjani, you've got to go, mate. You've got to go. No, I stay here with you, boss. No, you go, mate. You go. It's a great move for you, mate. All right.
Water says we're here for the second stream. Evening, guys, says Lou. Marcus Stewart always springs to mind with that incredible Premier League season he had with Ipswich. One season wonder a little harsh as he had a good EFL career, but never replicated that 1 year. Yeah, fair. And best wishes to Marcus Stewart, I believe, has got motor neuron disease, which is horrendous. Harry says, evening, pal. For United, got to be Moussa. Won't forget that Man U game. Moussa got a mention, didn't he, lads, when we were talking about it? We'll come on to honourable mentions, but I think we're at Jord that said half a season, probably. I don't even think he had a full season where he was a quality player.
I mean, he got 6. I think it was 6 goals in probably 2 months or something, if that. And he was doing really well, weren't he? And we were loving it. We were thinking, oh yes, 10 million striker, he's doing well. And then he got his injuries and started eating more kebabs and Burger Kings and
McDonald's.
Wrapping his Lambo around lampposts and
correct.
Yeah.
Benjani at City is now a coach at Plymouth. Wow. Brereton Diaz at Blackburn is a great shout, but we're more focused on the Premier League. But yes, that it is really proving to be a one-season wonder with BBD. Unfortunately, I still think he's a decent player at the level. It's probably a little bit like Paul's mentioned with a couple of these shouts that we've got. Don't mean he's a bad player, just means he's had one outstanding season. So, yeah, I think he's at Derby now, obviously, on loan from Southampton. Luke says it's crazy. Michio was linked with Arsenal after that season, then fell off a cliff. Not half. From Leeds. That won it for him, didn't it? That start of going to Napoli, released by Swansea to non-league. Wow.
It shocked me. I didn't expect that. I mean, it's a great start. It's a great one to pull up, Lee. And class on finding it out. Yeah, didn't expect that.
Half-season wonder, at least Mousse, says Ian. Yeah, Papi Cisse, says Chris. Yeah, he were on the thumbnail. But I was convinced he were going to get on the list. He's probably an honourable mention. Known as Lord Lundstrom to the fantasy football world for that great season, says Andy. Yeah, Man Mountain touched on that. Bridges did it in a European team, then dropped off. Injury in UEFA Cup match hurt Bridges. Yeah, that's fair. Nugent 100% record for England, says Liam. Yeah, fair. Evening, lads, says Carl. Hope you're all well. Shout for Benny McCarthy for the 06-07 season. Scored 18 league goals. Only Drogba scored more. It was ahead of CR7, that 7. Never got close to them heights after that. Yeah, linked with Man United and all sorts.
I know it's Premier League was focused on, but he was very good for Porto before he got there, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's true. He was a highly sought after player, weren't he?
I don't think it's fair to level one season wonder at him.
That's probably we're bending it, aren't we? But that's with the right context, I think. Santa Cruz was at Blackburn with Mark Hughes, who then got the City job and signed him. That makes sense. Thank you, Luke. Yeah. Thomas Brolin cost a club record fee of $4.5 million. Scored 4 goals in 26 appearances across 2 seasons for Leeds. I can probably think of
signing. Didn't have a good signing, did he?
Yeah, I could probably think of worse Leeds United.
He was brilliant for Sweden. In one of was it either the Europeans it was absolutely brilliant for them. And then obviously they fought the money and he found the donut shop and that was it.
Lunny was a defender in FPL that season. Yes, he was, Luke. Bryce says Clint Dempsey scored 17 goals in 37 Premier League appearances for Fulham during the 11-12 season, a personal best that he never matched again. But did he drop off completely?
He dropped to mid as a centre mid, didn't he?
He dropped deeper. Yeah, he dropped deep. I don't think he dropped off as a player particularly.
I think if you ask a Fulham fan, they class him as a legend.
A legend, yeah.
So I'd be surprised,
Because he went from a forward to a midfielder, didn't he? Which obviously changes your output. Yeah. Who are our honourable mentions then, lads? Before we move on to the predictions,
do you want me to start?
Go for it, George. Yeah, go.
So I got Andy Johnson, who were at Palace, Everton, Fulham, QPR.
Really surprising call to me, this, by the way, because I remember Andy Johnson as being a really good striker, as a middleman between Championship and Premier League. Wasn't quite good enough for the Prem, but a really good Championship striker. That's the memory I have of him. So I would never relate him to being a one-season wonder. But you laid out some stats that demonstrate that he probably was.
I've got them written down here. So it were, I think it was 04-05. He made 37 appearances again. So that's 37 out of 38. All starts for Crystal Palace and scored 21 goals that season.
Brilliant.
Then I think he missed the season through injury and then signed for Everton, I believe. And I don't even know if that were on a free or money. I can't remember. He made 32 appearances, then scoring 11 goals. Season after that, he made 29, 9 sub appearances, 6 goals. Then signed for Fulham, 31 appearances, 1 sub, 7 goals, 4 assists. Only made 8 appearances season after that, and 1 were a sub. Got 1 assist. And I think this is where he sort of starts getting injuries, because it were like 20 appearances season after that, 3 goals. 3 appearances for QPR when he signed for them, 1 sub, no goals. Went back to Palace and didn't make a single appearance. So he got 187 appearances in the Premier League, scoring 51 goals and 16 assists. But considering he scored 21 goals in that one season,
one of those seasons,
the next 150 appearances, he only scored 30 goals. I'm saying only, still not a bad record, but it's a real drop off.
Yeah.
And he made 8 England appearances as well in that time.
His league record for Palace is 140 games and 74 goals. So
some have got a upcoming championship then for that.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, this is where I think I know Jordan were doing some research and couldn't find there were a little bit of championship data that I don't think you got, but I remember him being really. I think he was a key player in Palace when Dowie took him from the bottom of the league into the playoffs and up. I think Andy Johnson was the leading light in there, and I think that's what sort of. He then had a season in the Premier League where I know Simon Jordan were really keen on, like, steadfast in keeping hold of him if they were going to grow as a club, and then he went to Everton. So it's that's probably why I don't have him as a one-season wonder, because if we've missed some championship data there, Jord, then it's probably unfair to class him as a one-season wonder. But certainly as a Premier League striker, riding that momentum, he's done it in first season, and then he's dropped off and leveled out.
And that's where I've gone from. It's not because I've just gone with a narrative of we were saying about Premier League. I've completely ignored his lower league totals and his championship total. Fair. I've just gone off the Premier League. So you think he's gone up to the Premier League, he's started banging him in, and he's hit it off straight away.
So it's worth the mention, isn't it? But I think it's right then that he becomes an honourable mention because of what
that's fair enough.
previously done.
Well, he got a season with Everton where he got 11 goals, which isn't a bad return.
That was his first season.
21 Premier League goals. His standards he's never going to meet again, isn't it? Because he's set himself an unachievable target to match. Well, so again, I get the theory.
Mitigation, isn't there? It's 27 in the season before as well. Well, if you're scoring 1 in 2 for a club and you play 140 games. I know what we're saying about Premier League. He never repeated that form. I get that. I understand
his levels as well.
But compared to some of the others, Ricketts didn't score anywhere else and things like that. I just think he's like he has scored goals. I don't think you could label it. I don't think he's fair to label him that personally. But
go on then, Paul. Who's your honourable mention?
I don't know, mate. I think I've.
Well, to be honest,
a lot of mine. I've seen Bride just put about Silo Berahino.
You mentioned that, didn't you? You mentioned it. It's a great shout. It's a great shout.
Like I said, my dad's an Albion fan, so they know all about him and what how he left and went to the rivals and all the other stuff, and how he got his fat contract and just seemed to stop playing and other bits and bobs. So yeah, I think he was a shining light for, like you say, maybe a year or two, but he was.
He could be a great shout actually, because I remember that, and he would talk about a big move to Tottenham, weren't it? I think at the time when he was scoring, it never materialised, didn't it? And then he stayed at West Brom, and then didn't he go abroad after that? And I know he had a spell at Sheffield Wednesday as well, where he might have scored 1 or 2 goals for them. I know it weren't many. And again, he looked like he were in England under 21, weren't he? I think at the time, and looking like he was going to be a real prospect.
Future,
and that was it. He probably believed his own hype. Another one believed his own hype, got a decent contract, got his money while he could, and then he got his injuries as well after a bit. I remember, and then that's probably why clubs weren't taking a chance on him.
Fair.
So his choice out at Prom when he didn't get his move to Tottenham. They were talking of him going on strike, and he just never recovered. He was never the player after it, as if he's lost his edge.
They love that the Albion with Odin Wingy. Do you remember it?
Wow.
Lee, have you got any, mate, just to finish off?
But mine were Papi Cisse, and because he had that really one good season where he were bombing them in from everywhere. The other one I would have mentioned might have been somebody like Tony Yeboah, who had that real good season, and then just drifted away. Apparently he was quite old when he was at Leeds. I think he was in his 30s, early 30s anyway. But he just had that one real good season where he was smashing them in, wasn't he? Left, right, and centre.
That famous. And then he did that a couple of times. Shot from outside box where it bounced off underside at crossbar and off line and in. Yeah,
that was. I remember that goal so vivid.
Well, I think it were against Wimbledon. We're against Wimbledon, the original. But then he did it again, and I can't remember who that were against. But I'm sure he did a couple of them where it were just very similar to each other. Yeah, and it were like known as the Tony Yeboah then, weren't it? When everybody had hit the underside of the bar.
I hit you in the face, it'd knock your nose off. It'd knock half your face off. Do you imagine how hard
that?
I'd love to know how hard he hit it. It was like an absolute rocket. You didn't even see it. It's like crossbar needed reattaching, gluing back on. My God, crazy.
let's have a look then at some rest of the comments. AJ scored 15 for Palace the season after 21 in the Prem, then went to Everton. Luke, Anthony Joshua. Oh, he's on about, yeah, it's Andy Johnson, obviously. Liam says Giovanni at Hull scored 11. Think they were all worldy free kicks. And Asamoah Gyan is another good shout from Lewis Sunderland, who
again another World Cup player who turned up, didn't they? I think he was he for Senegal, was he? Or I can't remember who he played for. He was brilliant in the World Cup, weren't he? There's loads of noise around him. And that was it. One good tournament.
Sign on Football Manager him.
Set for life. 4-year deal.
Nice one, lads. Well, thank you for that. We're going to move on now to our predictions, where I think Lee tends to take the mantle as the man who controls, and funnily enough, it's resulted in him being top of the league. But to welcome in our Platinum Rambler representative, it is the Batman himself. It's Lewis. How's it going, pal?
I'm very good. Evening, boys. How are you? How is everyone?
Evening.
Oh, good, mate. All good. What have you got any mentions for? I know you've put a couple in the chat, but what were your thoughts on the one season wonders topic? Who finishes top of the tree for you?
I think it was a good list. I actually voted for Michael Ricketts, but I think there was a strong argument for me too. You know, given the fact that he did literally turn up and then just dropped off a cliff and disappeared. Whereas probably with Ricketts, it wasn't expected. I think Paul made a good argument for that and kind of maybe changed my mind a little bit at the end. So, cool. But I went for Ricketts.
Nice one. Right. Well, we'll hand over to the Predictions League MC. It's the bald and brilliant Lee. So over to you, sir.
MC Lee on the mic.
In fact, let's put him in the middle.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh, so, the hierarchy's changing all the time.
Love it how Jim don't put himself at bottom like he's with me on the score.
Because the way I look at the screen, it's like I'm looking down like that way. That's the only reason I do it. It looks odd. If I end up here, it looks odd, doesn't it? Because I'm looking at everybody this way. So anyway, there you go. So Lee, over to you, sir.
So we'll go through last week. So last week we had Statman Jack on for the Platinum Ramblers. The first game was Bolton Bradford, which ended up 0-0. And the only person to score was Jordan, who scored a point for 1-1. The second game that Paul picked was Arsenal v Spurs, which was 4-1 to Arsenal. Paul got a point for 2-1. I got a point for 2-0. And that was it. You doing well, Jim?
Did your back Spurs get something at Arsenal? Really?
I back to draw. I back to draw.
Jim back draw.
Faux pas.
Statman Jack went 1-1 as well. So the next game was mine. That was Coventry West Brom, which was 3-2. Jim, you got a point, 3-1. Paul, you got a point, 2-0. I got a point, 2-0. Jordan got a point, 2-0. And Jack got a point, 2-0.
Yeah. Pretty obvious one to pick then.
It was.
Late winner.
Then we had Jordan's pick. Sorry, mate.
Was it a late winner for Cov? Or was that just...
that was the night. 2-1 down.
2-1 down, you see.
So then we had Newcastle, Man City, which were George's pick, which were 2-1. And there was nobody who got any points for that because everybody went for Man City to win. So that's how it goes. And the last one, which was Statman Jack's pick, was Leicester v Stoke, which ended 2-1, where Jim didn't get anything, Paul didn't get anything, I got a point, Jordan didn't get anything, and Statman Jack didn't. So last week, Jim got a point, Paul got 2 points, I got 3 points, Jordan got 2 points, and Statman Jack for the Ramblers got 1, which leads the current league table is at the bottom.
Is Statman Jack.
Is Jim.
Yay!
Paul
I must be going off last week's table.
Jim, Paul, and Jordan all on 13 points.
So all right, there you go.
Jim, I've told you, stop trying to build it up. You're bottom on goal difference.
No.
In second place are the Ramblers. On second place are the Ramblers on 16 points, and then at the top is myself on 22.
Have we done any scoreboard scrutiny here, lad? Are we checking what he puts?
We're checking.
He enters his scores after the results have come in. Oh yeah, I'll just.
Are we asking for an independent regulator?
I think we need one. I think we need one, Lou, at this stage, mate. I think we do.
Full disclosure, lads, I send it all in chat once it's done. It's all there up before. So
I know. I wish there were a little pocket of doubt there somewhere where I could hone in on him.
He believes his own hype now. You know, now he can.
I know.
See the future in his crystal ball.
I know.
Just shine it up. Just shine it up. There you go.
That could be a new feature. Couldn't we do that over his head?
People rubbing it and kissing it at the game.
And whoever's in the middle starts going like that.
To be fair, Louis were doing that last night.
Yeah,
I was hoping you had on the stream. Yeah, well, yeah.
You had noticed, actually. I'd had a few drinks and I thought afterwards, that's probably not very nice, that, is it?
Thing is, as well, I didn't notice, and I went and bought him a drink after.
I knew you'd watch it back.
You wouldn't have done that to him that day on the cup when he walked out, I tell you. I've never seen him angry, but I wouldn't want to either.
Right,
okay, so this week,
go on, mate.
This week we've got week 8. So the first game's picked by Jimmy, and he's got Leicester v Sheffield United. So Jim, do you want to give your score?
Yeah, I've gone 2-1 to the Blades.
Paul?
I've forgotten that. I hang it up.
You went 2-1 as well.
I'm just trying to open it now.
You went 2-1 as well.
So, yeah, Paul's gone 2-1 as well. Jordan?
I've gone 1-1.
Jordan, have you submitted these beforehand, by the way?
Yeah, they're in the group.
Yeah.
Oh, there, I didn't see them. Sorry. Okay.
I've gone Leicester 0, Blades 1.
Brilliant. I will leave mine because I might want to change it later.
No,
so, no, I've gone for Leicester to beat us 2-1.
Why?
Because I'm on a win-win then, aren't I?
No, I don't like that. That's not very.
Be on a win-lose if we win.
I were going to go for a draw, and I feel like I've let my heart rule my head that they'll pinch it.
Never.
See, I wanted to
put
us
what
to
kind
win.
of positive blade are you? Unbelievable.
A draw's a good result, I think. If we get a draw, I'd be happy with that, to be honest.
I wanted to put us down for a win, but you've got to have a, it's all about winning, isn't it? It's all about predictions.
And I hope we stuff Leicester so that you get a double
I do as well.
whammy. A double whammy.
I do as well. Give me a minus.
Caught in the league as well. You, Edridge. Right. Come on then. Oh, what are we on?
Current wife just passed me some red wine.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
We're like that. It's red
I'm
wine.
never gonna dance again. Yes. Anyway.
Jimmy, you're going so far, mate. You're almost like that.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next fixture, which is Paul's fixture. It's West Ham v Liverpool. So Jim,
I've gone for a high-scoring game this time. I think Liverpool turn it around, but they're still quite leaky. I've gone 3-2 Liverpool.
and Paul,
I've gone for a score draw, 1-1.
Jordan,
I've gone 2-1 Liverpool.
Lou,
I'm with Jordan. I've gone 2-1 Liverpool.
and I've gone 3-1 Liverpool. So I think we're all
the anomaly.
Yeah, you're hoping for a draw, right?
One word for you.
Well, West Ham have improved, and Wilson started scoring, and they look harder to beat all of a sudden. And Liverpool never looked so shaky. I'll be honest, never looked so shaky. So, yeah, it would have been easy.
You know what I thought? I thought to myself, this Liverpool run can't continue. And then I heard Mick McCarthy's voice in my head. It can.
It can.
I think if they don't win at weekend and they lose, he gets sacked.
Do you think
it's going to be close?
Don't be fooled by the clock that I got. You think he's returning?
Klopp.
Did he just do it Lopez?
Yeah,
did you? For Lopez in there.
Yeah, he did.
Don't be fooled by the club that I got. Do you think he makes his grand return?
No, I think Xabi Alonso gets sacked at Real and then Liverpool take him.
Yeah, but Liverpool are too egotistical to think that they would take a sacked manager, I think.
What odds that Gerrard then goes back then?
Oh, no, it's main man.
What about Reggie Labrie at Sunderland?
Oh,
They go after him.
Well, I'll be honest with you, that I really think Labrie has done something pretty amazing with what he's had to work with last season and this season.
Some good managers, though.
And I think Liverpool. Sorry, Jim. I think Liverpool are a little bit braver than a lot of clubs when it comes to their appointments in terms of coming out of not left field necessarily, but just going for someone a little bit who's not an obvious choice. I don't think many people would have said Slot would have been a really obvious choice this time, and although it isn't quite working out at the minute, I don't know if Liverpool are that kind of club. Do you really think Liverpool are that kind of club that are going to fire him at this point? I think they're suffering with not getting Gueye over the line.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Gueye makes a huge difference to that team. Canate, I've never seen out like that from an international footballer for a long time. It was dreadful. And Van Dijk's half the player all of a sudden, just the last sort of 5 or 6 games as well. So I think they base a lot on that, don't they? And they just don't look the same because of that basis, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with Luke here for that as well. That Iraola at Bournemouth, absolutely. Labrie is a great shout because he's done really good things. I just think the longer data is with Iraola at Bournemouth in terms of what he's done with, a much smaller club and maintained as well. Not just that, but they've turned over players and he's been able to maintain a strong standing in the league. Yeah. So Iraola, a little bit of a shout for Glasner as well at Palace, who's doing a really good job with them too. So there's some good young managers about that will interest obviously Thomas Frank with the latest one to jump, and it's a bit of a transitional period. How's it going to go? So it's never a proven thing, but it's I think you're right. I think more managers will take a little bit more of a risk on those sort of appointments. So
you were just saying, Paul, though, you didn't know if Liverpool had pulled trigger. And I'm going off what's been said here. I've got Sky Sports News on in background, and Jamie Carragher's obviously done an interview and released, not a statement, but, said what he said. And he thinks that Slot has got the weekend to save his job. That's Carragher that probably knows a bit more inside the club as well. So I think if he's coming out and saying that if they don't win at weekend or if they get beat like they have been getting beat, he'll be gone.
I think his centre halves, from my point of view, his centre halves are really letting him down. I don't think he's changed that much from the way that he was playing at the start of the season when they looked like they couldn't lose, could they? Even when they were playing after.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the signings. I think when you said to Liverpool fans, you said to football fans as it was, they're going to sign Isak, they're going to sign Wirtz from Germany, they're going to sign Kirkes.
Looked like they were just levelling up, didn't it?
Yeah,
mate, everyone I know, I'm sure, would say on paper when that happens, they're like, Liverpool are going to walk this league this season. They have upgraded.
They're making sure while they're on top, they're not going to get caught for a long time, aren't they?
No. It looked like they were just building a little Galactico, little set of team there, and none of them have come off. Like, none of them have come anywhere near off, have they? Other than Ekatike, you could argue, who's now started to drop off as well. I think he's been really, really unlucky, Slot, because the two centre halves are just way off here at the minute. Way off.
Do you think he's ruined the squad chemistry a little bit? That's what it feels like to me. He's kind of just blown apart the dynamic of the squad by bringing in very good players, and on paper it looks great. But the feeling around the place changes, doesn't it? And one or two leave, new ones come in. It doesn't always work. The chemistry's not always there.
Well, the one we haven't mentioned is Salah, who is an absolute shadow of himself, and he was responsible probably for 20 points a season on his own at times. So I think there's a lot of things happening all at the same time. I've never seen Virgil struggle like he has recently. I don't think it's not this stream, is it? But it's
make a good show, lads. Make a good show talking about.
I think there's a lot of things gone wrong for him. I don't know if they'll pull the trigger. It's quite sensationalism from Carragher, really, isn't it? I don't know, but like I say, all three of those that you mentioned would be good candidates for that job.
Liverpool Sakim says, Bri, Klopp's 4-1 with the bookies, says Dave Morwood. Klopp can name his price now, surely, because the amount of Liverpool fans that would cry to have him back. Mark Meldrew says, Tom Cannon's bagging Saturday. I'm telling you now, up the Tom Cannon. Wow, okay, that's his new boy, I suppose. From a few games I've seen, it looks like VVD and Salah's legs have gone, says Luke. Do you not think Slot's got credit in the bank? I don't know if that's a coin joke or, credit in the slots. But no, I don't, to be honest. I don't. He spent an awful lot of money, and he's not performing anywhere near to levels that the club would expect. I think it's been disappointing. I think the only question is whether, like Paul said, are they that sort of club where they're quite trigger happy, or do they try and see a little bit more long term and try and see if they can get the bigger picture? Can he progress them as a club once the players have settled a little bit? Reliable source on X, who gets more right than not, says he's got 6 points to save it. So next 2 games, I assume you mean he needs 6 points.
I saw an X as well. Someone had put that at the start of September, I think they'd got 15 points. Aren't they on something like 18 points now or something? If he put in November, they are on 18 points in the Premier. So in the Premier League, that's, I know you get an international break in between that.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of games to be losing. To get 3 more points in 2 months is for a club that spent that much money and got the class that they have is mental.
I was watching the overlap. Yeah, you know the overlap with Gary Neville and Roy Keane and that. They've been on today and they've been talking about Liverpool with Jamie Carragher. And he's saying it's the lack of fullbacks because they're playing that Shabajlai. Sorry, I've just spat everywhere. Shabajlai. Right back. Playing him at right back. And apart from that, they've only got that Conor Bradley and Kirkesh, the young lad on the other side. And they said they're struggling because with the fullbacks.
Fuck a gas. That's a great point you've made there, Lee.
Those waftly webbeth.
You were just trying to say it in Hungarian, that's all.
Jordan, I was just trying to say it, and he might not in Hungarian.
Right, okay, let's move on. What's the next one, Lee?
Please spell the scores.
Right, let's move on quickly. So the next game of mine, which is Rotherham Wickham, I've gone for a 2-2 draw. Jim's gone for 1-0. I'll say it because he's gone. Paul,
I've put 1-0 to Wickham Wanderers.
Yeah, Jim's gone for a Rotherham 1-0. I should say. I've gone for a Wickham. I've gone for a 2-2 draw. Jordan,
I've gone for a Rotherham 1-0.
And Louis,
Rotherham 2-0.
Nice one. The next one, moving on very quickly, so Jim can't drop out of me. Sunderland versus Bournemouth, which is Jordan's pick. So, Jordan, who have you gone for? What's the score?
I've gone 2-2. I've gone a Desmond.
Louis?
It was hard, this one. I went for Sunderland 3-1.
Wow.
Jim?
I've gone 1 apiece. Yeah, I think it's going to be tight.
Paul? Yeah, I do.
I've gone for 2-1 to Bournemouth.
And I've gone for a 2-2 draw.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we're all around the same scores, but, what is it? Same notes, just different order.
Yeah.
I think,
and the last one is Louis' pick, which is Stockport v Barnsley.
Great
Tough
pick.
game. And go on then, Louis, you can go first.
I've gone for the Tykes to win 2-1 away from home.
Jim?
Well, for those that aren't aware, Stockport have gone great guns in League One this year, and Barnsley have been stop-start a little bit. I would say Barnsley won 5-0 last time out against Luton, who were on the uptick, and Stockport lost 3-0. And Stockport, I think, have not won in like 2 or 3 games. So I've gone. Yeah, they're a good side, Stockport at the level, and Barnsley are on the up. Barnsley are away from home. I've gone for a 2-2 in this one. Can't split them really.
Paul?
I'm copying Jim with the Desmond.
And Jordan?
I've gone 1-1.
And I've gone for a 2-1 Barnsley win because they've started losing Stockport and Ollie Norwood's out until December. So I just think that
he's the cog.
They won't have that control. They won't have that control in midfield.
In that league, yeah.
They've been a little bit inconsistent.
Can I change my score?
He's arguably the best player in that league, Ollie Norwood.
Yeah.
So
talent-wise, without a doubt, yeah.
Now you've told me that I do. I'm not changing it. I'm only joking, but I think
you're not changing it because I've got spreadsheet here.
Yeah. Well,
should have done your research, George.
Lee makes his own rules up, doesn't he? As we can see, he's top at league, so I'll just make mine up and change it.
How dare you, James? How dare you? Should have done your research, George. Right, lads, if you've done your research, I ain't done any. Right, let's go.
Hey, I was too busy making graphics that didn't make sense.
I mean, I've got
I've gone for 1 to 1
on 11 points. I ain't done any research.
Yeah, fair dues. There's
no point with these predictions. We could research all day. It doesn't matter what you say.
Yeah, it's absolute potluck in it, to be fair.
It is potluck.
Absolute potluck. So what I'm going to say now is thank you to everybody that's joined us. Thank you, lads, for all your opinions as usual. I'm going to throw it back to the Platinum chat for what subjects they would like us to talk about next week. We're back to the voting on who you would like to represent you. Statman Jack letting you down last week with just the 1 point. Absolutely abysmal performance. Let's hope Lewis performs better than that this week. But yeah, so get your representative voted on, and also the topic. Lads, anything else you want to add to the stream before we let everybody go?
Yeah, I'm wondering when we're all just going to start copying Mystic Lee over there and start trying to get some points on this board, because we go different every time, and he's absolutely rinsing us every single game, isn't he?
Just for the Platinum Ramblers, your best performing Rambler was Dave Morwood with 5 points, and second behind that was James from Matilda Shakes with 4. So get into them because you need to catch up.
Right, sounds good. Thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. Come on, you predictors. Up the ramble. Up the ramble. Hey.
Bold and brilliant, that's our lead. Knows the pitch like the back of his knee. No need for hair, he's got strategy. Football genius, yeah.